Good morning, afternoon, evening to everybody listening. My name is Sharjeel Yunus. I'm joined here by Shantanu Gupta. And today we're going to dive right into the bandwagon effect
Yes.
in 2 bits of marketing. So, the bandwagon effect, right? According to the page we usually use to refer most of this research, it's basically the habit of adapting certain behaviors which we observe around us, which many people do. It's a very simple one. Essentially, the easiest way to think of it is when you were a child, people warned you not to be like your friends, especially the people being your mom, dad, and teachers,
Yeah.
and your friends being the bad influences of your life.
Yeah.
That was the bandwagon effect, right?
Very
Like
true.
saying, hey, don't be just like that. Put more thought into yourself. And these are some of the more important things of bandwagon effect, which we will be getting into discussing. But before we do that, let's dive right in. What are your thoughts on the bandwagon effect, where you've seen it, experienced it?
Yeah. Again, my definition to bandwagon effect is pretty similar to what you said. It is you are not like you kind of believe what others have done is the right way for you to do it, and you just go with the flow, and you're like not really thinking much. Stopping yourself or slowing down to really think, is this something you want? It's an effect which is around you, which makes you feel that you're missing out on something. You have the peer pressure of, okay, if I don't do this, maybe I'm wrong. Everybody else is doing it right, so it's the perfect thing for me. Great example for that, which we all have gone through, even our listeners have, is when you had to choose a university or college or even a school or any kind of courses. Maybe not school, because that's when your parents had more say.
They went
But
through it.
yeah, they went through it. But again, yeah, they went through it. So where you would search top 10 colleges or university or top 100 in the world, and then you will go to budgeting to figure out if it's realistic to your needs. In needs in terms of how much can you afford or what you're willing to put down. But now, always, if you see in that process, you will always reach out to folks who have been in the university or college, and then you would read like 100 great alumni from this university. Now that's
Yeah.
a bandwagon effect, because you're not thinking if this is the right course, university, because a lot of things are involved, right? You might have to change countries, cities. You might also have to your staying habit, like the situation will change. You are living very comfortably now, but for that you will have to sacrifice more. But you don't think of all that. You immediately think this is the right thing for me to do, and I think that's what bandwagon effect is, because it makes you not think individually, where you could have been better at probably a trade school, or you could have been better at something else, and you did not really do it because you felt, no, this is the right way to do it. So
Yeah.
that's a bit, yeah.
And I think it's really important what you brought up, right?
Mhm.
The thought part of it, right? And factoring it in for yourself. Because I was just like, while you were speaking, it's like, hey, the difference between a rite of passage
Mhm.
and a bandwagon effect is thought. Right? We often hear about, oh, everyone that I know does things like these.
Yeah.
Right? But if you also want to follow that and do it out of your own individuality, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you put zero thought into it, and it's like, oh, everyone's doing this, I'm also going to do this,
Yeah.
that's where it's like pure bandwagon. You're not putting any thought into it. There are, of course, several negative connotations to this as well. Like, I was reading somewhere in some book that the bandwagon effect is one of the easiest ways to make a crowd into a mob, right? That's very possible, because
Yeah.
you just have to incite certain emotion and a crowd becomes a mob very quickly. And
Yeah.
once you have one person, everyone joins in,
Very true.
right? So mob mentality is very based on the bandwagon effect. Nobody's really thinking as such. Everyone's just like, mob. So that's a particular instance. But on more regular levels, right, where we truly see it is precisely in those decisions where not much thought is required.
Yeah.
Imagine you're at the checkout aisle and you have like, oh, $1 left. You're just
Yeah.
like, whatever chocolate, buddy, whatever is there for $1, you just pick something up.
So
You
true.
don't necessarily care which one it is.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about it. So bandwagon effect is limited, in my opinion, only to decisions that there's no thought required in.
More like impulse buy in a way it could be. But because you spoke about checkout at a retail store or grocery store, I was reading about this also in food and beverages industry, especially if you go to a liquor store, say, for example, you are always tend to buy a bottle or a product which is low in stock, or it already has a place card saying running low on stock. It's a very good marketing.
Fast selling.
It's amazing marketing effect, which is actually the bandwagon effect is. you are like, oh, if 100 people before me bought this, there has to be something good about it. I cannot let it go. I don't have a need for this. I probably do not even drink. I do not like the taste of this, but I'm going to do it. I think that's where also celebrities are always getting into creating their own gin and whiskey.
Yeah.
For the sake of it, I don't think they would be drinking that much also at a given time.
They
They could, but they are very health conscious. They always have interest into health freak products also. But they also have created a brand which sells alcohol, which of course, if had in quantity which are not good for health, it will of course affect you. But they give on this, right? Because you don't buy the product then. You buy the celebrity, and that effect just goes as a snowballing effect where you just have to buy
For
it.
sure. Like, I think, yes, also maybe we should create some differentiation between celebs and pure bandwagon, right? Simply because the power of celebrity culture or parasocial interactions.
Yeah,
We've spoken
spoke
about
about
this,
before.
right? Exactly. So I think it's moving in that domain a little bit. And the reason I say that, right? If we were to look at a bandwagon effect that needed to start, think of every YouTuber,
Yeah.
right? Or every Instagram, what's it called? Influencers.
Yeah.
So, wow, I can't believe I forgot the term for a second. Whatever the X community is going to be called now, right?
Yeah.
Xers.
We are still trying to figure out.
Yeah, whatever they're going to be called.
Yeah.
The way these people have reached and built their communities lies on the bandwagon. It's almost like, hey, tell your friends about it, right? Everyone jump in, we're doing this. And that's why it's important to really look at the bandwagon effect through the lens of trends,
Yeah.
right? Recently, Super Bowl happened. I don't watch the Super Bowl. It's like, yeah, okay,
Even me,
cool.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, great sport though. Don't kill me.
Yeah.
But I was reading a story about how Usher basically did something for free at the Super Bowl, but now he is like, his tickets basically for his upcoming concert went up by like 30% or something. He's ranking #1 on Spotify. Right? So that's like celebrity. We can't necessarily call that bandwagon, right? Jump right in. But the trend, it had an impact on trends.
It had an impact on trends, and also it gave the advantage to the organizer and to the artist to increase their pricing. So it's basically moment marketing, right? Where they use that to their advantage. They're not really selling you something wrong. They're just selling you an experience. But now when the interest is more, has any for-profit business would want to get more ROI on their investment. So I think always important to also be very like analyze what's happening and make sure that you take the right decision at the right time. So I think they did that perfectly. Because like, I don't think before the Super Bowl they were thinking of increasing the ticket prices. But
no, in fact, there was also a comment in that saying most ticket sales for Usher's concert happened after the Super Bowl performance.
That's a great effect.
Right. So basically, everyone saw him over there. That's celeb still, I would say. But at a pure bandwagon level, that's why I want to talk about people who are not famous. Right? Who
let's take this example, right? We have on our notes where bandwagon effect and AI. AI, the hot topic. The world is going towards AI. Let's hold on to each other. I think individually, what this effect, I'll just quickly tell this for our listeners is, right now, AI has always been there for many years, few decades now. It was never a separate category. It was always integrated into the system and the products. Now there's a different category altogether. You have SaaS tools, software as a service tools, which are like amazing AI tools. They are there for creators, for businesses, for agencies, solo entrepreneurs, anyone to take advantage of. But they are not all AI tools are for us. Like, you have to make sure that the tool you're looking for is there to serve your purpose. They're super expensive, but I think because of the bandwagon effect, everyone right now thinks if I am not using an AI tool, I'm nothing. I'm not upskilled, or I'm not skilled enough for this world. No, that's not true. From our conversation at 2 Bits of Marketing is, we have been very safe in a way to decide on which tool we want to use for our editing. And that's not because we have a lot of money. It's about
it doesn't meet our purpose. Like, it's as simple as that.
Purpose and what is solving. If you are automating marketing, that's not solving much of anything. But what we are thinking of tools are which will make our editing faster, get this great content out there for everyone, distribute more efficiently, so that we are able to help all the people we can in the world with our conversation. I think that's where.
And I would also add to this, right? Like that's on this end. And for our clients, we use a bunch of different tools to gather insights and data.
Yeah.
These are all AI as well.
Exactly.
Right? Like, honestly, and this is an important thing, like how trends happen, right?
Yeah.
We're going back to that. Like back in the day, it was around blockchain and cryptocurrency. Blockchain was huge,
Yeah.
right? I remember it was like so huge.
That was the
Before
next
that,
thing in the world.
artificial intelligence at 2005, 2008 also, that was the first peak of
Yeah.
AI that really came, right? Nobody
But not
understood.
a lot of social media was
Yeah,
around. So,
nobody
yeah.
really understood. But now we have this coming in again.
Yeah.
And of course, words are going to transcend how the bandwagon moves.
Yeah.
But it is important to stay within the realm of trends, because that's where the bandwagon effect can be seen truly. So if you were to look at the adoption curve, which is the bell curve, you will see that at the majority stage, the early majority and the late majority is where the bandwagon is on the rise. After that, it cannot rise. It's
Yeah.
going to fall down.
It's going to fall down.
And I
Very
think
good call
this is where, like, we're moving the conversation more into marketing,
Yeah.
right? As marketeers, our important job is to spot these trends. That's why personally I don't like social media,
Yeah.
because I don't watch movies like which are popular. I don't see like pop culture. I don't participate much in that, which automatically makes me bad at social media, because I will never be able to jump on a trend,
Yeah.
right? Alternatively, I know you're somebody who's really like, who loves movies. You
Yeah.
like it. You like the Netflix part of life. I think you're just way better at social media by default, right? Without even trying. You're
Yeah.
better off than I am. I'm like,
Very true.
okay. I have like, other stuff that I worry about. But that's an example of the bandwagon effect. And in social media, you can really see that. We look at trends. We look at celebrations that happen. All of this, these are, to me, are examples of the bandwagon effect in all its glory.
Yeah.
Another way to look at this is the first bias. I forgot what it's called. There's a political inclination to this term. But the insight on which this is based is whenever elections are held across the country, one province will have the first vote counted. Other provinces, how they vote will depend on who has won over here.
So true.
Because nobody wants to vote for the loser.
Yeah.
Right? So
True life, yeah.
people automatically jump on the bandwagon of what came first.
I think bandwagon effect is used a lot in politics,
Yep.
and we don't want to touch upon that because a very deep topic. It has a lot of statistics, and it will be wrong for us to kind of comment further. But yeah, the simple fact is, if a party or a candidate is winning, you want to be with the one who's going to win because you want your vote to be counted. So again, the folks who are voting are kind of not choosing for themselves. They're just going with what everybody else is doing, which is the wrong thing to do in democracy and when you're voting. Anything.
Yes.
Next one, I think we had some really good example was a Kickstarter when you spoke
Yes.
about. Just a two-liner on that.
Yeah,
And
so
let's move
to me,
the next
when we were researching that, I was
Yeah.
like, hey, Kickstarter's entire business model is built on
Very
anything
good,
that's
very-
crowdsourced.
Yeah.
Right? It's built on the bandwagon effect, saying, hey, if 100 of you really like this
Yeah.
and invest so much money, I'll make it for you guys. That's the bandwagon effect. Like, in a nutshell, that's what it is. Right?
True, so true. And
as a business
also
model, it works.
For Kickstarter, like whenever you are launching a product, you see most of the brands do not, like most of the companies, first, of course, they are getting funding to kickstart something. They don't really have a lot of funding to market, but they immediately, when they see there's a trend that, okay, this has got more people have pledged to support this project, the bright thing is to just be in the social media where you'll find your audiences there.
So
to take it there.
sorry to interrupt, but my brain just went, ooh, because I remember hearing about this. But there's a effective way to do bandwagon on Kickstarter. If you truly want to make, say, 5,000 as your number, right? Don't propose for 5. Propose 3.
Yeah.
Reach that goal quicker. What is going to then happen is media is going to pick up that, oh, look, this company has reached its
24
goal
hours.
quicker.
Yeah.
So you're going to hit 5 quicker. But if you hit 5 and you don't reach 5, you're losing out on the free media push you get.
Very
right?
good point.
So you
Extremely good
definitely
point,
have to be very clever when you're coming to Kickstarter. Of course, we are marketeers.
Yeah.
We know how this works. Never put your full thing on Kickstarter. Always
Never.
half it. Or
Yeah.
make sure that you're using, and this is a concept we'll talk about later, but I call it the Tetrisification of marketing, which is you got to stack up in such a way that everything gets cleared at once.
Good.
Anyway,
The last one is the Clubhouse.
Yes.
I think I'll just pick this up. Clubhouse was a new audio-only social media app. If you guys know about it, leave us a comment below.
I would say Mensa is better.
Yeah.
I use that. Check it out.
Yeah, I think we can all have individual choices. though we are talking about bandwagon.
No, we can't.
So Clubhouse
Listen to me.
pretty much lived through this bandwagon effect, which you spoke about the bell curve. Like it goes to a point, then it dies down. I think I signed up to the Clubhouse. All the big celebrities like Elon Musk also had signed up. They had gone on amazing conversations on Clubhouse, and it just died. It just died out of nowhere. I think people was crazy excited for that month, and then it just died. So that's the con also of bandwagon, where it can kind of prove that this product is needed in the world today, but not always right. Sometimes it just doesn't fit well. So
and another like silly example is fidget spinners.
yeah.
Right, like let's be.
It was
such
a thing,
trendy product. Like I was like, why is this a thing?
Yeah.
As somebody who moves around a lot, and fidget spinners, I am the TG.
Yeah.
I am the TG, and I was like, why does this? It's fun to have.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, this is not an effective business model to build a company off of.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Right.
I think it's more like this is a movement marketing, right?
It's moment
People
marketing.
Build their
It's
business.
trends.
They got the money out of it, sold the products. It was all drop shipping, most of it, all being made in different continents and being shipped through Amazon. I think that was the fun. It lasted for maybe a year or two. Got amazing B2B sales also, because I think the right market was to reach out to businesses, because they would send to the employees or in conferences. I think it worked really well. But I think, that's what. So
It
get
became
into
like
it.
a merchandise
And
thing.
basically in bandwagon effect, your marketing, all your efforts have to be measured in a way where you're not spending days and nights only on that, because it's not going to last for long. It's just going to last then. You're going to get good returns. Again, we can't be the judge. Like anything can get viral any time of the day. But I think that's what it works at. And then we also want to talk about what more.
The concept of hashtags and keywords,
Yes,
right?
very
Hashtags,
important.
because that's one of the things that I mentioned as well was, hey, when you actually study a hashtag, and when we ask people to follow a hashtag, what we are doing is we're encouraging a bandwagon effect to take place, right? So therefore, how should your hashtag strategy be? Should in some sense be defined by what is the bandwagon you're building, and therefore how can you compound the bandwagon. So that's one way to look at it. Another way to really look at the bandwagon effect is how many people are shouting and what's the sense of community, right? So a lot of it is deterministic within your community features. I would say a bandwagon is louder in public than it is in
in a silos
your own. So you definitely want to have the idea of many people, thousands of entities. It's one colossal organism. That's what you're really trying with the bandwagon effect.
I think the best example for that would be the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, which happened 2014. It has been, I think, historically, what it has proven is that it has been the most successful campaign to raise fund for a disease nobody knew about in the world. And it was a crazy effect. Like, I think everyone from nobody not knowing and celebrities just jumped onto it. Simple task, throw like ice over your head and just raise money through it. So I think it generated $115 million, which before that it never really happened. So
that's awesome, man. And there's definitely that participatory nature.
Yeah.
The Tide Pod Challenge was the exact opposite. It was like
the negative of the bandwagon.
It was basically it absolutely made no sense. But that's where the criticality comes in, right? Sometimes it's important that we create situations where we don't want people to think too much.
Yeah.
Right? But don't eat a Tide Pod. That's just come on. That's not a thing.
But I think we have discussed really well what bandwagon is, what examples we could. Now I think the last part before conclusion is like how in marketing can this idea be used. I can go with the first one. You can add on to it.
Go for it.
Create customer testimonials. Also, in a way, it can be social proof. I think that's a great bandwagon effect to use, because when somebody comes on your website or product you're selling as a service or anything like that, testimonials play a long way. So I think that's why we always tell when we work with the clients is also invest decent amount of time and effort to create good testimonials. Don't create something which feels like it's been repetitive or it's not real. Fake testimonials will not take you very far. It might just give you I think a bandwagon effect also in that way, right? Like it will just give you like a small ROI for like few days. After that, it will be flagged. And also create great testimonials which connect to your target audience. What pain points your potential customer is trying to look for to solve. If your testimonials have that, I think you have really used this effect to a good advantage for you as a company.
100%. Like I'd say other ways to like really build on the bandwagon effect is try to create participatory moments. right? Because that's what the bandwagon is. The bandwagon is people who participate in it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is a bystander, right? And the bandwagon moves in front of them. So you ideally want to have like the ALS challenge, for example. What made it awesome was it was so accessible.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody could do it. Back when wines were the big thing, there was also that frozen mannequin challenge. Was that what it was called?
I'm not sure. I
Like-
don't even know if I've.
Yeah, there was a
seen that.
mannequin challenge. There were way too
Okay.
many challenges, right? But the idea of a challenge, it is participatory. It is bandwagon, right? Essentially, at its fundamental, the bandwagon effect is, like Seth Godin says, people like us do things like this. It is fundamentally true to marketing. It is a fundamental pillar of what marketing is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's where the idea of like, oh, any brand merchandise really comes in. Like, does every store need to have branded bags, shopping bags? No.
No.
But people like us do things like this.
Hmm.
Look at my bandwagon. So basically, anytime your brand can be represented is an opportunity for the bandwagon effect to happen. Like, there was this one guy in my school, I forgot his, there's no point bringing his name up. I'm pretty sure I know it. He was wearing Red Bull, Max Verstappen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dude, okay, you and I can talk. Right? I just know that he knows enough about F1, so
Yeah.
that's how we start talking to him. Right? I was already on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
So in a lot of cases, what you also want to do with bandwagon is make sure that people who have such an interest are able to find your bandwagon. That would be, again, focusing on distribution is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and
So-
also creating right assets. Like,
Yes.
not everything is needed to get you there, but the awareness, as you gave that example, amazing example, is a very organic example, right? Because you probably met someone you never knew before, and then the company or the product met their potential next customer also, and
Yep.
probably they had to spend nothing on that because they actually earn money on it, and I think it's a good thing to do. Lastly, I think we also saw one very good example, because as a marketer, I think it's very fun to see this, is where we have seen bandwagon. If you want to go today and check it out, is go to any Shopify page, anywhere, or any website when you go to next, pay attention to when you're on the cart and it says 50 people bought this in last 1 hour. It's an amazing bandwagon effect, because it kind of forces you to rethink that if so many people are buying it already, why not? Why am I waiting? Let me just check out right now. I think that as a business, if you're starting, you're trying to sell a course or you're trying to sell any product and you're trying to really get customers on market your product, this is something which you should really invest in on your website, because I think it can really have great effects, rippling effects. So yeah, that's one of it.
Fully makes sense. And yeah, dude, like I think that's pretty much all of it from the bandwagon effect. The most important thing, again, as marketeers, is pay attention to where the trends are.
Yeah.
Right? In some cases, there's a difference between differentiation and distinction. Right? Are you trying to differentiate? Are you trying to be distinct? Are two separate questions?
Yeah.
When you're worrying about bandwagons and like trends, just jump right in.
Yeah.
This is not the space to worry about, oh, is this my brand language? Dude,
But do you have to think if you're a fit? Let's say if you're a food
I
brand.
don't necessarily think how much of a fit. For example, take like Messi winning the World Cup. But
Anybody could fit in there. That's what I think.
I mean, you can use that same rationality can be used to justify anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can make that same. Messi winning the World Cup has nothing to do with KFC or Starbucks, bro.
But then naming a ring after him probably.
Again,
Could
you
be,
can
I don't know.
we
I'm
can
just
call our business game plan the Messi package.
Yeah.
Right? But that doesn't mean anything. We're
That's
just
true.
jumping on the bandwagon.
Exactly.
And it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
just fun to do.
It's fun. And I
So
think that's
do
very
it.
important. Do it, because marketing is a lot about experimentation, also a lot about fun, and never let that fun get out of marketing or whatever you're doing today in your business or as a marketer. Super important. Keep yourself grounded there and take
Also,
some risks.
please don't take the last 2 minutes seriously. Do not start a messy thing. Like, no. I don't know who's listening. He knows I'm joking. Please don't do that.
But it's good to like experiment a bit. As you said, right? You will have to just jump on those trends, figure out where you can serve your TG, and as you said, how much that effect can help you as a brand too to build up in your community too. So it's very important to
Especially
have
for
that.
social. Especially for social media. Like, again, like I was saying, dude, I'm very bad at social because I do not pay attention to Netflix and pop culture. You do.
Netflix
You're
does it
so
really
much
well.
better.
If you see all the trends Netflix is doing right now, their posts are changed like every probably overnight. They just change their concept of how they create posts, and they make memes on different kinds,
Yep.
and it's super fun. Like, I think they are doing the Bandwagon Effect one of the best right now. I think they're doing better than Nike because Nike doesn't have to. They did just do it and that's it. I think they are kind of immortal now in that space. So
Yep. Nike is a running effect.
yeah.
Like, they're like bandwagon, lazy people.
But,
But I think that's pretty much the end of this
This was-
discussion. Thank you all for
Thank you so
listening.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, and we have a lot more stuff happening.
Yes.
We're definitely going to do something to let you guys know a few updates as well on our end,
Yeah.
but major progress. So thank you all. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks.